Hi guys, welcome to the first video in this series. I've got some exciting bits of news to share with you. The first is a Christmas related thing. Now, to sort of introduce myself in the best way possible, this is what I got for Christmas. I got a wormery for Christmas. Now, a wormery, if you're not familiar with that term, I'm sure some of you are. A wormery is like a compost bin, but it's sped up so much, and you get two great things out of a wormery. Now, every time you make food, every time you're getting all your food waste and you might be recycling it in your food bin, you can use that in this wormery, and you can, get rid of all of that stuff so it doesn't like stink out your bin. You put that in this wormery and the worms will break that down into two things. So the first thing is you'll get a worm compost tea. You wouldn't want to drink this tea, it's disgusting, but for the plants it's great. So if you've got little chili plants, or you've got some fruit trees growing on your balcony, or just a bit of like lettuce, you can water the lettuce and things with this worm tea, and it feeds them. It keeps them going, it feeds the soil as well. Now the second thing that you get from a wormery is compost. And the compost is brilliant because you can put it into the bottom of if you've got a courgette growing, or some potatoes growing on your balcony, in your garden. I mean, wormeries are great for every use. So, the brilliant thing is that a wormery can go on to a balcony. It doesn't create mess. It all is self-contained. So you pull out your tray and you can unload all the compost, you can unload all the tea, and you can feed your plants. So that's a really good advantageous thing to have on your balcony, on a terrace, and also on your allotment. I've got mine on my allotment. It's coming up here because I'm going to be moving house soon, and I don't want to keep lots of stuff around. So everything's moving up here, so it keeps me more mobile. But yeah, if you ever want a present for someone who's looking to grow their own food, then a wormery is a great thing because it keeps all your mess, all your food waste, all your food mess down, and you're feeding your plants at the same time. It's brilliant. We'll also be looking at some little techniques that you can do with like banana skins, tea bags, coffee grounds, and how you can use that to feed your plants as well as the year goes on. It doesn't smell, trust me. The way you do it, it won't smell. Now, the second thing that I want to show you is something very exciting, for me at least. Maybe some of you will feel this same kind of energy and excitement about plants, but my first broad beans of the year are up. Now, I sowed these in November. I did a little video about sowing peas and beans. Now, obviously the days are short at the moment and the climate is cold, so they take a long time to come up. But really, I've been advised that broad beans are best sown in November, and if you get them in early, then you get a nice early crop, but also they have like certain advantages over ones that you sow in March. I'm going to show you my broad beans because I'm very excited about this. Now, I grew them in a propagator, which you may have seen from the video. Obviously they've got a nice lid on to keep it all nice and moist and warm in there. But if I lift it up, so I haven't seen them for 2 weeks. If I lift them up, you can see the emergence of some broad beans right there. Now, for me, this means food. This means I have a potential chance of getting some broad bean plants, some broad beans, maybe enough to freeze this year. I haven't had that yet, but even so, fresh beans, fresh broad beans, fresh peas are just, the flavour is just incredible. It beats supermarkets, hands down. You don't even, there's no competition there whatsoever. Also, the beans themselves, like all the shells and things, you can use back on the allotment. They've got loads of good nutrients in them, and you put them back into the soil, and they're great for other plants as well. So you get so much out of beans, like and I've made bean hummus in the summer. I've made lots of bean curries as well, and bean chilies. So we have all of that to look forward to if these guys survive. And I'll be covering lots of hints and tips about how you can get your broad bean plants, your peas, to get through slug damage, to make sure that you don't have too many pests around, because I did have some pea seeds that were broken into, and the mice have unfortunately eaten my pea seeds from last year. So, but that was my fault, that was my negligence. However, I've learned from my mistakes, and yeah, moving forward, you know, I get a good crop of broad beans this year, I'll be very happy, and you'll be seeing it all over Instagram. So I'm sorry in advance, but you know, this is really exciting stuff for me. As it's January, you guys are all kind of, whether you get into the gimmick or not of New Year's resolutions, it is a good time to reflect on what you want to do for the year ahead. Now for me, I have laid down 3 pledges which you can find on my blog. They all kind of relate to eating better, keeping fitter, and keeping my mind and body together. And it all relies on the premise of me not going to the supermarket for convenience anymore. You know, using the organic kind of local stores around, and I know that I can do it quite cheaply as well. I've bought about a week's worth of vegetables just for £10, and if you weigh it up, shop at like an organic kind of local independent greengrocers, or in my case Better Food, which is the store in Bristol that I go to a lot, because they've got a lot of vegan and vegetarian stuff that I use in my cooking as well. So in that case, you're supporting someone local, you're also getting food that hasn't travelled like miles and miles and miles. It's fresh, it's got lots more nutrients in it because it's not sat there for ages, and you know, it stops me from buying things like chocolate, that odd bottle of wine that I tend to buy sometimes. You know, it stops that convenience is a good thing sometimes, but it's not always a great thing. And in that downtime where I'm not getting a crop of like carrots or broccoli, organic food and organic shopping is where I want to be. It's what I want to be getting, because it's the same. It still has that flavour. And actually, if you really don't have the time to grow your own food, you know, if you're working like 40 hours, 50 hours a week, and you really don't think you've got space, time, or all the energy, then my advice to you is go and buy organic. Now, another pledge that I made in the blog post, and I'll sort of elaborate a bit more on it here, is I want to keep fit, I want to keep healthy, I want to keep my mind focused on everything this year. January is always a good time to go, right, everything's changing, I'm going to keep fit, but I mean it this time. You know, you have to mean it. And one of the things I've been doing, I started doing last year, was running. Running is a fantastic way of keeping your mind and your body healthy. You know, you're keeping your muscles active, getting the blood circulating around your body as well. Gardening is too. So the two, if you combine the two, and this is what I'm going to do. Now, a lot of you won't have this kind of space or time to do all of this, but what I'm doing is I'm putting gardening here and running and combining them together, because my allotment is big enough for me to actually run around it in the morning. Or, you know, before you go back to water your houseplant or something, go for a little run. Go for a little run, get that air into your lungs, get circulation going, and then, you know, go and spend a little bit of time just thinking about what you want to do, where you want to be with your plants. You know, incorporating plants in, mindfulness, running, exercising, cycling. I cycle up to the allotment as well. Walking, you know, digging, getting engaged with the soil. They're all really good. So yeah, talking about going back to that keeping fit, my New Year's resolutions: eat healthier, exercise more, and just be more organised as well. Because when your mind and body come back together again, and you're kind of like, you know what you're doing, you're focused, you've got the blood flowing around your body, you're like, yes, I know what I want to do, your organisation starts falling into place as well. Now, I am not the best gardener. I procrastinate a lot. I don't go up as much as I should, or I didn't last year. This year, however, I'm changing things up. I've got calendars, I've got spreadsheets, I've got little notes that I've got in a little pad. I'm taking pictures and writing down over the top of them what I want to grow in each space. I'm trying to plan it so that I can get one crop in and out, then another crop in and out. You know, double cropping, intercropping, all that stuff really saves on space, and you can get a lot more from your vegetables sometimes as well. Things like growing in the Three Sisters method, which is like a butternut squash or a pumpkin growing underneath dwarf French beans. That is intercropping, but it's also stopping the beans from getting all these weeds around them that are, you know, encroaching on them, sapping all the nutrients out of the dwarf French bean or French bean plants. You know, intercropping is really good as well. So by organising, keeping fit and buying organic, I think I can have a really good 2018. Then of course there's the small space garden and the allotment. And this year I feel really good, I feel it in my bones. It's going to be a good year, and I'm going to work hard to get that harvest in October, in the winter, in the autumn as well. And I'm going to try and keep it so that I can at least get 3 months self-sufficient. Don't necessarily need to go to the supermarket because I have potatoes, I have beans, I have carrots, I have beetroot. I don't need to go aside from things like almond milk or butter, you know? That would be fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to that. But first comes the hard work, and we'll see how it goes. But thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Let me know if you've got any questions about what I've been talking about, if you've had some similar experiences, or even if you just want to drop down what kind of New Year's resolutions you've made this year. You know, I want to hear all of that sort of stuff. Let's get a conversation going. So thank you for watching, and good luck with your growing.